Okay, so today I was in Job 26 through 31. And there were several different lessons that I learned in there. And one is like he stayed faithful to God, even though his friends were coming against him, making him question, trying to get him to question. He stayed strong and faithful and held tight to God. He just continued to trust the Lord. And I think when we go through hard times, we've got to stay strong and stay connected to the Lord. Even in our weakness, stay connected to the Lord. Something else I saw in the scriptures was the fear of the Lord is wisdom and turning from evil is understanding. I thought that was kind of an interesting on the turning from evil being understanding. But that does make a lot of sense now when you put it like that. And then something else I saw in there was, you can go from a mountaintop where God is just blessing you and everything is wonderful to the valley low where there is pain and tragedy and suffering and heartache and all this bad. But you've got to stay strong during the valley, because God wants to take you higher than the mountain you were previously on. But sometimes you have to go through the fire. You have to go through some trials and some pain so that God can take you even higher than you ever were before. So that was another little lesson that I got out of that. And then the other one was own your mistakes and then confess them to God. And I wanted to read to you just some lessons that I saw not lessons, some confessions of things that we do from time to time. And I think that some of these you don't really think about on a daily basis, that, it's mistakes that you've made or things that you need to confess. But some of the examples were like when your eyes are not pure, you don't keep your eyes pure, so you're not careful with the things that your eyes see. You don't want other people to prosper. Sometimes I think we can get caught in that, where when we see other people prospering, it makes us jealous or frustrates us, and you don't want to see them prosper. You don't help people that have needs. So like if you know somebody has a need and you can meet that need, then you should do everything that you can to meet that need. Rejecting others, don't help the poor. So that's something that, if you're presented with somebody that poor doesn't have to just be money. It could be poor in spirit, like somebody that needs some encouragement and uplifting, you should encourage them and help them, in their walk with the Lord or whatever they might be going through. Taking care of the fatherless and the widows. You're not staying faithful to your spouse. These are all things that you should confess. If you put faith in wealth over God, knowing that God is your source, He is your provider. So putting your faith in Him to provide for you is where you're supposed to be, not putting your faith in money that comes from you thinking that you did that instead of God provided that for you, because everything is God's. Do you rejoice in other people's ruins, other people's pain and suffering? Are you glad people are suffering? That would be something to confess. Cursing others, fear man over God. So that would be like fearing what other people think or say about you more than who God says you are. Any iniquity in your heart. Don't speak up for others that are being wronged. So like if you see people being wronged, then you should speak up for them. You shouldn't just stay silent. So anyway, these were just some lessons that I learned. I love looking for all the little things that help me in my walk with the Lord and strengthen my faith. So I hope that encouraged you today.